Distinguished guests, respected members of the audience, and colleagues of the Asiatic Society,
Dr.
my warm greetings
Shamat
to all
Poddar,
of you.
Shyamji
Today's
Krishna
gathering
Varma Research
is
Fellow,
not merely a commemorative event. It is an
contributes to our
attempt
Rashtriya
at
Smarak Bump.
serious historical reflection. As we begin this lecture series on the life, educational vision, and intellectual legacy of Bharat Keshari Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, on the occasion of his 125th birth anniversary, we are consciously revisiting a chapter of our past that continues to shape conversations about education, politics, and national life. This reflection acquires a special resonance in the auditorium of the Asiatic Society, an institution that Shyama Prasad Mukherjee himself once led as its president from 1942 to 1944. To speak of his legacy here is to reconnect the present with a living intellectual tradition of which he was an integral part. The initiative would not have been possible without the encouragement and support of the Honorable Administrator of the Society, Lieutenant Colonel Anand Sinhaji. When I first approached him with the idea of organizing a focused lecture series examining Shyama Prasad not merely as a political figure but as an educationist and thinker, he immediately recognized the intellectual value of such an effort. His active cooperation and institutional backing have made today's program a reality. For that, we remain sincerely grateful. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to Arup Braton Bakchi sir, Administrative Officer of the Asiatic Society, Dr. K. K. Udhikari Banerjee, Curator of the Asiatic Society Museum and Officer in charge of research, and all the officials and staff of the Asiatic Society for their sincere efforts in making the program possible. My own role has been modest but deeply felt. It seemed to me that the 125th birth anniversary offered an important opportunity. Too often, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee is remembered only within the framework of political history. Yet his contributions to educational thought and institutional leadership deserve equally attention. This lecture series is an attempt to widen that lens. The historian Ramesh Chandra Majumdar once observed that while 19th century Bengal produced many individuals who earned national and even international distinction, the 20th century saw very few Bengalis who achieved comparable stature across India. In his view, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee stood as a notable exception. That assessment alone invites carefully reconsideration of his life and work. In matters of educational philosophy and administrative ability, he proved himself a worthy successor to his father, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee. At the age of just 33, he assumed office as the youngest vice chancellor of the University of Calcutta. Under his stewardship, the university was not merely an academic institution, it became a site of intellectual self-assertion and national confidence. For him, education was not an administrative domain, it was central to the moral and intellectual formation of a people. He had once written that the dust and din of political life did not attract him. He said, "My tendencies lay in the sphere of educational administration, and I did not feel attracted by the noisy and dusty career of a politician. I thought the best way to serve my country would be through the path of education." Yet the political circumstances of 1939 to 40 compelled him to stay beyond the quiet confines of academical work. In his diary reflecting on 1939, he wrote, "1939 continued to be a year of Hindu oppression at the hands of a communal ministry with Fazlul Haq at its head. Legislative and administrative measures were either adopted or advocated which aimed at a deliberate curtailment of Hindu rights, so long as such activities related to departments other than education. I had my protests recorded in the assembly but did not find it possible to mobilize public opinion outside. As long as the developments did not directly affect education, he confined himself to registering formal protest within the assembly. But when education itself became the arena of political contest, he felt compelled to act. He later wrote. Then came two black bills, the Calcutta Municipal Bill and the Secondary Education Bill. It was the latter which forced me out of my academic seclusion, where education was made the plaything of party and communal politics. I felt it my duty to rouse public opinion. These words reveal the ethical basis of his political engagement. It was not ambition that drew him into public agitation, but a conviction that education must not become an instrument of partition or communal manipulation. On 21st August 1940, then Premier and Education Minister of Bengal, A.K. Fazlul Haq, introduced the Bengal Secondary Education Bill in the Legislative Assembly. Although the idea of a separate board had earlier been discussed, including in the report of the Calcutta University Commission, the question of control and representation soon assumed a sharply communal dimension. The University of Calcutta took a firm stand in defense of educational autonomy. It was within this changed atmosphere that Shama Prasad's protest acquired lasting historical significance. Today's lecture revisits precisely this episode, the Secondary Education Bill and the protest of an educationist who believed that the integrity of academic institutions must be safeguarded. We are fortunate to have with us our first speaker, Professor Dr. Navakumar Ado, formerly Associate Professor of History at Sabang Sajinikanta Mahavidyalaya, Medinipur. He received his PhD from the University of Kalyani in 2012. His doctoral work, titled Shama Prasad Mukherjee, His Role in Bengal Politics 1929 to 1953, has since been published as a book and is regarded as an important contribution to the field. He has also completed a University Grants Commission sponsored research project on Jogendranath Mandal and has published widely in national and international journals. At present, his research interests extend to economic history and contemporary trends. It now gives me great pleasure to invite Professor Ado to deliver his lecture. Thank you.